Welcome to the Emporium Outdoors. My name's Michael, and in today's adventure we're going to be heading off to the Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park today on the new Honda CRF300L. We're going to enter the park from the Outwater side, and then we're going to travel east across the border into Saskatchewan, and there's some nice camping spots inside the park. So if that sounds like fun, let's get going. And just a quick reminder, if you like my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me out considerably. So as you may know, if you've watched the channel for some time, I had a KTM 390 Adventure. That was a 2023 model, and I recently sold it, actually a few months back, to buy the Honda CRF300L. So I made the change because I wasn't happy with the off-road performance of the KTM, unfortunately. And I thought the Honda 300L would be a much better option for me. And it certainly did make a big difference on these gravel roads when I'm heading into the park here. The 300L is very, very comfortable on this loose stuff, and a lot more than the KTM ever was. However, like most things, there's a compromise to be had, and the KTM was fantastic on the road. It was very, very comfortable, it was very fast, and with the quick shifter it really made that bike fun to drive on the road. But the 300L, obviously with a lot less power, it's not as comfortable on the highway. I can get up to highway speeds, I can quite happily do 110 kilometers an hour, but the bike is buzzy, it's not comfortable, there is no wind protection, etc. So that's kind of the trade-off. Even with that said, I think the 300L is more aligned with what I'd like to achieve out of my lightweight adventure bike. I did some 2-track trails just to test out the bike and get a feel for it. And this is where it really does shine. Even though the suspension is very soft on this bike, I'm not really an enduro guy, I'm not an off-road specialist in any way, shape or form. And for me the suspension does feel overly soft, and especially with carrying luggage, I'm not going fast enough to overcome the suspension, but it wouldn't take much to do so. So I knew when I bought the bike I'd have to put some money into the suspension, so I understand that's something I've got to address. The other bike I did look at instead of the Honda was the Kawasaki KLX300, but I just ended up going with the Honda because there's so much more accessories available. So we've made it to the park, found our little camp spot. We're just going to get set up. I'm going to put the hammock up, and I think that'll work quite nicely. So anyone interested in what I'm wearing, it's the KTM Terra Adventure version 2 jacket and pants as well. I also have the boots, which I'll put up on the screen, which I actually love this setup. I did look at some climb jackets, etc., but I was really impressed with the price point on this KTM suit, and it's been great so far. It's nice and cool when I'm riding, and it's nice and warm when it's cold as well. It does have a liner you can remove from the jacket, and I never trust Gore-Tex or any other Gore-Tex type products to be 100% waterproof. And one thing that attracted me to this jacket is it comes with its own over jacket to keep the water out. That packs into the back of the jacket. I'm still figuring out my luggage options for this bike, so I did have limited storage. I just had that Rhino Walk 30-litre tail pack that I put on the bike and my backpack, so I really don't have much at all. I didn't bring anything to boil water or make anything hot to drink or to eat. So this really is a quick in and out, just a bit of a shakedown, just to see how the bike rode, etc. But I think I'll be able to fit everything on the bike that I need, and as long as I keep it pretty lightweight, which most of my gear is, I don't think I'll have any problems. I found when I started motor camping that I had most of the gear that I needed because of my backpacking journeys, etc. So the majority of the gear that I have is actually quite suitable. In this occasion I wanted to bring my hammock, because I always get a really good night's sleep in the hammock, and because I'm alone it's even better, even though Esme, my dog, loves coming in the hammock with me, especially now I've got Lizzy, the corgi. She also loves the hammock, so I get one night at least to enjoy the hammock all by myself. The hammock I brought on this trip is the Warhammer Eldorado. It's a lightweight hammock, but it's very high quality. When I bought the hammock, I opted to have the 2 layers on the bottom, so I can slide a sleeping mat in between, but I actually prefer using a bottom quilt or an under quilt, and I use a top quilt, my lightened equipment, which is rated down to -6, so I shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. I also brought the wall bonnet Superfly tarp with me just in case it was going to rain. It looked like the weather was going to be good, so I didn't bother putting that up. I do enjoy sleeping in the hammock with me just looking up at the stars. That's one of the big highlights for me. So I was lucky enough not to have to use the tarp, and it also saves a little bit of setup time. However, my Climate Luxe pillow did fail on me, and I'm currently returning that to get it fixed. Very disappointing. So for water, I've just got this Hydro Pack with the filter, Kaiden filter. This is a 3 litre, but when it's empty and rolled up, it doesn't take up much room. All I do is decant it off into smaller bottles. It's like a 330 milliliter. And yeah, that works really good. So when it's empty, I'll just roll it up, put it back in the bike. But yeah, it's one of the best water filters I've come across. It'd be nicer if I could dangle the bottle from it somehow. Haven't figured that out, but works great. Love it. So just taking a break in the hammock to keep out the bugs. But we had a very nice ride in. The CRF300L is doing a great job. I think with all my stuff on the back though, plus my weight, we're probably looking around between 230 and 250 pounds. And that suspension really isn't tuned for that type of weight, so I'm going to have to do something with the rear spring, I think. And obviously the front is super squishy too, so I'll probably end up fixing those 2 shortcomings. But yeah, overall very happy with the bike. It's a big difference from the KTM 390 that I had, which I actually loved that bike. It was a great bike, but it really wasn't particularly good off-road. Just no confidence in that thing. Fortunately, just fantastic road bike. If you want to do a couple of gravel tracks, it's great, but anything more than that, and you'll soon find the limits, which is a shame, because I think the concept is really good. I think KTM's bringing out more of a dual sport kind of adventure bike later on, 2025, which I'd be interested to see. But yeah, that's the reason I actually switched to the CRF300L. I was riding my 390 adventure, doing a couple of dual track riding, and I actually took my wife's Yamaha XT250 down the same tracks, and night and day the difference in how easy it was to ride that thing on the dual track. So yeah, 390 went away, and I bought myself a dual sport because I think that matches more what I want to do. Not great on the road, a little bit buzzy, and I could do with a bit more power. But apart from that, I try and do back roads anyway, get to where I'm going, and on the gravel, it's brilliant. So very happy with that. Looking forward to many adventures. This is my first kind of shakedown run, and yeah, it seems to work. Need to get some panniers sorted out. Really want to get the Moscow Moto Reckless 40, I think, but that's crazy money. I don't mind kind of spending money for the best, but that's a lot of money for luggage. It's like $1,100, I think. So I'll have to think about that. Anyway, I think I'll take myself off for a bit of a walk. So the sun's gone down now and the time is 9 o'clock. So I'm probably gonna go to sleep pretty soon. I didn't put my tarp up. I think we'll be okay, but I know where it is if something does happen. I can cover stuff up, but I think we're good. I can just hear the cows off in the distance, living their little happy lives in the forest. So I'll see you in the morning. So hopefully I'll have a good night. Good night for now. So good morning, it's 6:30. Had a very pleasant night's sleep. I woke up around 1 o'clock, set up a time lapse, so see what that provided. I can hear the gentle mooing of the cows from the forest. Didn't bring anything to make tea or coffee with this morning. Very, very lightweight trip, so probably a glass of water and an energy bar, and I'll be heading off. So this really was just a bit of a shakedown trip. So yeah, time to get up pretty soon. I just threw on the inner jacket for my bike jacket, and that kept me warm all night. This is my neck gaiter, which also doubles as a hat. So yeah, very pleasant night. Enjoy it very much. So I'll be packing up pretty soon, and then we're going to hit the road. Over the years, I've always learned to take some time to look around the campsite, make sure I haven't left anything. You only have to do that a couple of times with losing equipment, and it soon realize that it's worth just those extra few moments just to double check everything before we set off. So I did go ahead and install the Apple CarPlay display on my motorcycle, and it works actually really, really well. I bought it from AliExpress, I think it's like $100, and I 3D printed a special mount to mount it to the motorbike. But just having my maps and my music, my podcasts all at my fingertips is fantastic. I just love it. I think all motorbikes should come with some sort of Apple Play or Android CarPlay. Kind of makes sense. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments, and I'll maybe make a specific video just about that topic. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a lot of fun to make and I enjoyed this trip very much. If you are in the Medicine Hat area and you haven't been out to Cypress Hills on your motorcycle, or just generally actually, then it's a really good place to check out. There's camping opportunities all throughout the park and it spans across the Alberta and Saskatchewan border. It's one of my favourite places. Lots of different terrain to practice on your motorcycle. Unfortunately it's not crowned land, so you can't really camp and do whatever you want, so that's a bit of a downside. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, leave me a comment, maybe a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.